In a world built around chairs, couches, and elevated surfaces, we've unknowingly engineered movement out of our daily lives, and what replaces movement over time becomes stiffness, fragility, and a kind of silent disconnection from our own bodies. Sitting on the floor isn't just a lifestyle quirk or a cultural habit, it's a biological conversation your body has been waiting to restart. When you sit on the floor, your body doesn't lock into position the way it does in a chair. A chair does the work for you. It holds your hips at a fixed angle, supports your spine artificially, and eliminates the need for muscular engagement. On the ground, however, your body has to stabilize itself. Tiny, often ignored muscles begin to wake up. Your hip flexors, your glutes, your core stabilizers, even the small muscles around your ankles. These aren't the glamorous muscles people train in gyms. These are the ones that quietly determine how well you age. There's a reason mobility experts pay close attention to something called the sit-to-stand movement. The ability to sit down on the floor and rise back up without using your hands has been linked, in research circles, to longevity. Not as a magical predictor, but as a reflection of something deeper. Coordination, balance, strength, and flexibility working together in harmony. When those systems degrade, they don't do so loudly. They fade in the background until one day, standing up becomes something you think about instead of something you just do. But what's even more fascinating is what happens neurologically. Sitting on the floor introduces variability. You shift positions, cross-legged, side-sitting, kneeling, stretching one leg out, then switching. Each micro-adjustment sends new signals through your nervous system. This constant feedback loop sharpens proprioception, your body's sense of where it is in space. In simpler terms, you become more aware of yourself, not emotionally, but physically. And that awareness reduces injury risk, improves coordination, and even enhances how efficiently you move through everyday life. There's also an unexpected metabolic effect. Floor sitting tends to discourage prolonged stillness. Unlike a chair, which invites you to stay planted for hours, the ground becomes subtly uncomfortable over time. You fidget, you adjust, you move. These small movements might seem insignificant, but they accumulate. They increase circulation, prevent stiffness, and gently stimulate calorie burn without the need for structured exercise. It's movement hidden in plain sight, disguised as discomfort. Posture, too, takes on a different meaning when you leave the chair behind. In a chair, good posture often feels forced, shoulders back, spine straight, an almost rigid attempt to mimic alignment. On the floor, posture becomes dynamic. You learn to stack your body naturally, because if you don't, discomfort corrects you. It's not about holding a perfect position, it's about constantly adapting. Over time, this builds a more resilient spine, one that can handle movement rather than just maintain stillness. Culturally, many societies that incorporate floor sitting into daily life, whether during meals, social gatherings, or rest, tend to preserve mobility well into older age. It's not that sitting on the floor is a cure-all, but it becomes part of a larger pattern of living that prioritizes movement as a default, not an afterthought. Contrast that with environments where everything is elevated, where convenience replaces effort, and you begin to see how subtle design choices shape the human body over decades. There's also a psychological layer that often goes unnoticed. Sitting on the floor changes your perspective, literally and figuratively. It grounds you. It removes the artificial hierarchy created by height differences in seating. There's a certain humility in being closer to the ground, a quiet shift that can make interactions feel more equal, more present. It's not just about the body, it's about how the body influences the mind. And then there's the resistance people feel toward it, the stiffness, the discomfort, the awkwardness of getting up. That resistance is the signal. It's the body revealing what it has lost or neglected. Most people avoid the floor, not because it's harmful, but because it exposes limitations, and yet those limitations are precisely where growth happens. Each time you sit down and stand up, you're rehearsing independence. You're reinforcing the ability to move through space without assistance, something that becomes invaluable as the years pass. Modern fitness often focuses on intensity, lifting heavier, running faster, pushing harder, but there's a quieter, more sustainable form of health that lives in everyday movements. Sitting on the floor belongs to that category. It doesn't demand an hour of your day or specialized equipment. It asks for something simpler. A willingness to be slightly uncomfortable, to move more naturally, to let your body do what it was designed to do before convenience took over. Over time, something subtle begins to shift. The act of lowering yourself down becomes smoother. Standing up feels less like an effort and more like a reflex. Your joints feel less restricted, your movements less calculated. And without realizing it, you've reintroduced something that modern life quietly removed. A continuous, low-level conversation with your own physical capability. Not forced, not scheduled, just present.